Hello, this is me, Basically Gaming Tim, back again with another episode, another review, and this time it's my first ever review. I don't know why I said another review, because it's my first ever review, guys. It's Uncharted, Drake's Fortune. This game is pretty good. Now, I heard about this series a while back. Obviously, I've played a couple of the games in the series, but I never really went through the games. So, this was a very interesting experience playing these games. Now, this game I played was the second Uncharted I played, so this was more of a welcome back to the series for me, really. In this game, you basically play as an adventurer. His name is Nathan Drake. He stumbles across, he works his way illegally to recover treasure from the legendary Sir Francis Drake. This treasure basically means that he can uncover a whole hoard of gold. He finds a treasure map in the grave / coffin thing, and basically discovers that he needs to get to this area to get the treasure. From this, he is joined by a character called Elena, who is filming the entire experience for a documentary. He forgets to tell her that this is illegal, and basically what's going to happen is, they fall into some trouble with a competing group who are looking for the treasure as well, from the similar area, I believe in South America somewhere. It's never specifically stated, but yes, they're being tracked down and they're in danger of being, killed for the treasure if need be. So they eventually make their way to where the treasure believed to be, but unfortunately it has been raided. Now, back in the day when Francis Drake was alive and was looking for the same treasure, he ended up taking that treasure somewhere else. The Spanish at the time, he believed to be the Spanish, have believed to taken it, but then he decides to go on a wild goose chase. But yeah, that ends as well as you expect. Francis Drake ends up hiding the treasure, and you're left to look for it in the middle of nowhere, really, because we don't know what happened to him, we don't know what happened to the treasure. It's a mystery. Now, this game is a very enjoyable adventure puzzle game. The main elements to the game are the adventure. I would probably say this game is aimed at a 10-year plus audience. The story is very much what I told you. The characters are very fleshed out, and there's cutscenes every now and again. Oh, forgot to mention the other character. There's also Sully. Sully is your sidekick, but for most of the game he isn't really there. He basically is quite a guy. He ends up working for the opponent because he's also a treasure hunter, but he's basically in it because he's unpaid some debts and needs to get money back. And overall, Sully is kind of a chancer. He has some great chemistry especially with Nathan Drake. That's where the main comedy comes from, and also it's just the funniest to see those two together. It's very funny. Yes, the main gameplay elements are, of course, the adventure element, where you run around and you shoot. You have 2 gun slots, and the running is pretty fun. I think the running is just like a normal jog, and you can also jump on ledges. So it is similar to games like Lego Indiana Jones, and you can make the argument they're very similar. The whole idea of jumping on ledges, you can literally jump on any sort of obstacle in front of you. There is a puzzle game, so there's a lot of, parts where you need to move things. So you take great advantage of your L stick and also your triangle and square buttons to maneuver things, and also to change. So for instance, in one game you have to change the direction of different pillars in order to open a door. So for a lot of these you'll do have quite similar puzzles. The puzzles are on a scale of like 1 to 10, they're probably about a 5. They're not too difficult, they're not too easy. The story is alright, and I don't know, I thought the whole believability about the Sir Francis Drake thing, it can be a little bit hard to imagine at times that Sir Francis Drake was actually there, because there's no real evidence apart from the end. The whole kind of reveal at the end, or the last act, is where it really gets, you know, down and dirty to the main story. Yes, that storyline is on a scale of like 1 to 10. I would say, yeah, it depletes a little bit. I mean, yeah, they do use up some of the entertaining aspects from early on in the game, and yeah, the whole idea of treasure hunting, it kind of gets worn out. I don't want to say that because it's such a it's like the first game in the series, but yeah, you get the premise really early, and I'm just saying, like, after a while of just playing and playing and playing, you're like, okay, I get it. The concept gets a little bit over-exhausted, must I say. And, you know, they do introduce the new aspects, but that's confusing. And Francis Drake, yeah, the whole legend, it's not exactly what I thought it would be, to be honest. I was just a little bit disappointed. I'm not going to say you will be as well. You might find it really interesting and just enjoy the hell out of it. Me personally didn't enjoy it that much. And once you complete the game, you will be able to replay different chapters. So you can go back and, I don't know, look for treasures, as they're called. Yes, treasures are present in all levels in the game, and what they do is there's about 60 to collect, and you just, for replayability mainly, you can go back and collect treasures. In terms of replayability, this game is very much a very interesting game, so you might miss out something. Obviously the story is quite apparent, but it's also, once you figure out what happened, it's an alright story. I mean, it's quite fleshed out. The main selling point really would be introducing to the characters. But so what I told you all about the customability of this game, there are a lot of unlockables you can get in this game. So for instance, when you complete the game on a certain difficulty, you get to unlock, you know, costumes, art galleries, and I believe little Easter eggs for the game, where you can like change just random things. Like you can make the screen like sepia, which is kind of weird, but I don't know, like a different tone to the screen, or you can make everything really fast. Yeah, just like little unlockables you get in Lego games. I don't know why I'm making a comparison, but there is a little bit of comparison there. The look of the game is very nice. They've remastered the game for the Uncharted collection, which is what I was playing on, and it just looks beautiful. It actually looks like a next-gen console. I was introduced to the Naughty Dog's franchise with The Last of Us, so this has kind of, it's a little bit of downgrade in my opinion, just because The Last of Us is just a perfect game. So for this, it's kind of weird to see the gameplay just go back a bit, but obviously this game came out at least 5 years ago, so obviously the gameplay wasn't going to be perfected, because this is probably one of their first PS3 games, I believe, that Naughty Dog did. So yes, I thought it was very good, and the graphics just were really, really good. See, the set design was brilliant. You go to a island and it really feels like a vast island, even though it's not that big, but every scene you go into, it's just full of little goodies. And also the way it's laid out, you have to like travel, so you can go to different paths like in The Last of Us, so there's not one set way to go. Obviously a little bit more set than The Last of Us, but you still get to experiment around different areas. Like, say, should I go this way? Will that be dangerous? Will I die if I go that way? You know, stuff like that. And there's lots of different unique sets, so you can just replay one chapter on its own, and you'll definitely pick out favourites. I mean, there's about 20 chapters in the game, so you might say, oh, I love chapter 7, I love that set, and every one is a unique set, so it's very, very fun. And I personally think the whole chapter is very cool, chapter system. So it does give a kind of illusion of time and also story development. Speaking of story development, the writing for this game, again, I pretty much touched on it mainly before, but the writing is really, really funny, and also the writing is really unique. each character is an individual, so they obviously bounce off each other quite funnily. The story is laid out in a 3-act. So the second act is kind of like, the first act is discovery, the second act is I don't know, the rise of the enemy and the whole building up your courage and stuff like that, and the, you know, disbelief. Shall we do this, shall we not? And the third act is just taking down the enemy, just beating them up, spoilers, and also just the ending. Yeah, the ending is nice because it doesn't leave it open for the second game very well. And yeah, at the end the characters are still alright. I would probably say that the characters are a little unrealistic, but it's an adventure game, so you can't really knock it for that. Just in the way that the characters, yeah, they're a little bit fearless, especially Elena. You wouldn't expect a camera woman to just saunter into the situation and be like, okay, kill like 15 people. That's not bad. And then again, finally, I'm just going to touch on the music because it's really, really interesting. I didn't really notice it because it kind of works well in the background for a lot. Some points, like when you're in the action sequences, and it sort of just picks up, it gets very cool. So the music does work very well. Obviously not as unique as The Last of Us, but it will be as unique as The Last of Us. It's very, very, you'll catch the songs, they're very good. The main song is unbelievable, you can hear it in the menus. I'll probably play it as we go now. I don't know if I'll have copyright issues, but listen to that music. That song is just unbelievable, and it really works well for the situation. It's like South American vibe. It just gives this explorer vibe, so you really feel like an explorer in a level. Less like a, you know, mercenary, more like an explorer, like really cool like that. And you're like Indiana Jones. Definitely comparisons there. I don't know, I keep bringing up Indiana Jones, but seriously, yes, this game is very intuitive as well, with all of the interesting things you can do with the background, or should I say environment. But the cutscenes are beautiful during the game. You can even watch them as an individual movie if you wanted, which is really fun the way they do that. It's in The Last of Us as well. So Naughty Dog are very creative, very intuitive with the game. It makes it feel like you're really a part of it. That's so great, and it's with all the Naughty Dog games. I don't think there's any one bad Naughty Dog game. They always have good aspects to them. This one, yeah, it's a really, really good selling point for the second game, and I'm very excited to play the second game, in fact, so that you'll be seeing lots of cool walkthroughs and gameplays of that second game as I release them. Meanwhile, this was a very fun game. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe if you haven't already, race to 10 subscribers, and also see you all in the next episode. Bye guys, see you all, bye.